ago, and I couldn't find that. I found that quote, but he had the actual UN print-offs from the UN, and I think a New American magazine that he writes for. Get Dave C in here next week for an hour on gun control. I know he's hard to get on the air because he's busy running a hardware store and a gun shop. Just a good old-fashioned, hard-working American. And that's an example of raising your sons right. You know, I think, was it one or two of his sons are state police now, and I know they're patriots. The point is that this is real. And the article says, a treaty being hammered out this month at the United Nations, with Iran playing a key role, could expose the records of American gun owners to foreign governments. Well, yeah, it says they're going to register them all under the treaty and give it to the UN. You're like, that'll never happen. Well, like healthcare, the IRS will never tax you for that. It's all going to happen. They don't care. They want to start a civil war. They want the police and military to be wiped out. And by the way, they will be wiped out if they try this. This is one thing people aren't putting up with, and the system knows that. So the commies and the globalists are just going to sit offshore while we kill each other. How about we just don't do it? Well, they're going to do it in Chicago and other areas. They might get away with it there. Wherever they can destroy a culture, they can get away with it. But, folks, it's all in there, okay? It's a blank check. They call for banning civilian firearms. That's why they have a .357 Magnum tied in a knot at the UN building in New York. Enough from me. I'll hold him over if I have to. Scott in Tennessee, you were bringing up how you raised your sons up. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, I mean, you mentioned, legitimate things like full spectrum dominance, and that's a great term. In your home, you've got to have a full spectrum integration of your values, of the values of your father, your grandfather, your faith. And I think that, people have forgotten that it's actually, the first institution God established was not the church, it was the family. And I like to tell people it's way more holy to make spaghetti in the kitchen with your kids than it is to go to church and listen to some 6-foot icicle talk about allegiance to the state. And they got to the point I couldn't take it anymore. And I said, you know what? I want to raise world changers who will go out and carry on my worldview, and they're not going to get it from these puppets in the pulpit. And for a long time, man, we just tried to reintegrate and go to another church, another place, try to find a place to fit in. And the truth is that the people who are going to make a difference in the coming days, weeks, and months, you are not going to fit in. So, do what the Bible says, like Isaiah's coming and that spirit to turn the hearts of the fathers back to the children. Take that in earnest and apply it to your life and become a better dad, a better husband, a better citizen. Do what's right, when nobody's watching you. Be the person that you want your children to be. Be 10 times that person. And I tell you, they will catch it. They'll catch the things that you're not teaching, or that, you say, like, you think you could do a better job. Don't worry, Alex. Your kids are catching the fire from the things.
I want to hear more, but stay there.
In Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, it is open phones in this hour. I am going to continue with your calls until I get to at least 15 of you. Then I'm getting into the news. Pentagon takes over civilian duties and sprays mosquitoes in Florida. Talk about real chemtrailing. We got photos and video. Even Time Magazine, H1N1 vaccines linked to Guillain-Barré syndrome. Oh, really? It's in the insert, birth defects in Guillain-Barré. It's like, gee, this alcohol, this Jack Daniels is linked to getting intoxicated. Gee whiz, Sergeant. Golly. Let's go ahead and go back to Scott in Tennessee, then Mark. Then we're going to get to Nick and everybody else that's patiently holding. Go ahead and finish your eloquent point, Scott.
Hey, thanks, Alex. I just want to give a quick warning out to people, too. If your enthusiasm is contagious, you need to be warned also that your apathy is also just as easily caught. And, there's a lot of apathetic people out there in the church and the society in general. Don't give in to that, man. What we need to do is, like you said, full spectrum dominance, full spectrum integration for us as dads is to take your work, your art, your philosophy, your religion, your faith, your parenting, and wrap it all up into something that's really tangible your kids can get a hold of. And I tried to get on the reporter thing. I sent something in as Joseph, with reports in the affirmative. And I do want to encourage people, there's a lot of good things happening, but it starts in the home. Husbands, be faithful to your wives, take time with your kids, and in the end, even if we don't win on the scale that we think we will, we'll win day by day, and those are the victories that really count. The hearts of
Well, that's why the system tries to corrupt us is so, because they know morally, if we've been destroyed morally, it's like a virus that makes us weak so they can overtake us. That's why they cold-bloodedly sell being immoral as if, oh, they want you to miss out on the fun. No, the truth is, down the road, it's not fun, and it brings bondage and suffering and everything that is bad. And so I'm not up here on some high horse about being moral. I've experienced being immoral. I've experienced, things, and we've all experienced a lot of things, but you're right. But I mean, when you go in and see these preachers now, they literally are reading off a government script. I don't care if it's Baptist, Methodist. I've been to a bunch of churches with family, you name it. And you go in there, and I mean, that is government propaganda piped straight out of the UN. And those preachers are just up there getting off on it. It is so evil. And that's why this country's gone. Because this is not really a Christian nation. It's all a bunch of doctrinal henpecking where everybody's better than the other person, and that's why we're in so much trouble. And I mean, it's scary because I've been to a bunch of churches, and let me tell you, folks, it is really frightening what's being taught in these things.
Use the exit door, Alex, and to form smaller communities of believers and of people who are really going to do something and not just sit in there.
Oh, I meant to cover that. Guys, print me the articles. A bunch of them have come out in Arizona and California where there's huge fines if you even have 5 people at your house for a Bible study. They're even going out in rural areas and saying you're not allowed to meet. Why is the system so scared of small numbers of people getting together? Because that's a real church. They don't control it. They are scared to death of it. Why are they so scared in Russia and China and now in the U.S. of small churches? Because it's the only churches there really are.
Yeah, that's right. That's the real church. Because once something grows to a certain number of people, it becomes inherently corrupt by the same kind of piety and politic, or polity, which is the root of the Christian religion in America. This polity, or system of government and church, it is a government system by nature that becomes corrupt by the increase of numbers. And you've got to separate yourself from that nonsense and begin to live it out in earnest, in a real world with your friends, neighbors, and family.
Well, here's the deal. I'm not up here telling people I'm holier than thou, but I don't, whatever, your faith is, if you don't have a drive to confront evil and innocence being oppressed, something's wrong with you, folks, and you might as well just join evil. We'll be right back with more calls. Stay with us. Coming up, Russia is sending warships on maneuvers near Syria and building up Marines inside the country ahead of Lord Hillary announcing she wants another peace bombing of the country to put al-Qaeda in charge. Garbage collectors trained to spot terrorists. This is going on all over the country. That means spot people wearing John Deere caps, basically. Also, we told you this 3.5 years ago. It's on the insert. Cancer, birth defects, stillborn, Guillain-Barré, narcolepsy, seizures. Here's Time Magazine, H1N1 vaccines linked to Guillain-Barré syndrome. But not birth defects, they say. Oh, sure. Here's another one breaking all of that down. H1N1 linked to potential fatal nervous system condition. Study. Well, when it was all happening 3.5 years ago, there was it was in the British news. Their own government had to say, don't give under 5s the shots. It's causing a 10-fold increase in seizures, and many of them are getting paralyzed or permanent, through debilitating seizures for the rest of their lives. Okay? We told you, we're right again. It's not about being right, folks. There's nothing more frustrating than doing the research. It's not hard to find. It's admitted fact, not my opinion. And then to see big pharma getting liability protection from the criminal governments in Europe and here, and now to know GMO companies are about to get total immunity with the stuff they've got killing us. So it is serious news. UN arms treaty could put U.S. gun owners in foreign sights. Yeah, no kidding. I got Bob Dacey coming in next Wednesday. We just set him up for a big breakdown of this treaty that Obama says that he's going to be signing very, very soon, next Thursday. It was Wednesday. Now they moved it to Thursday. We're going to be going over all of that. Also, we've got some new drone news, and it ties into Pentagon takes over civilian duties and sprays mosquitoes in Florida. What did the Army Times say 4 years ago? in Brigade Homeland starts tour October 1st headline. They said we're going to be doing Jaws of Life, cutting people out of wrecks, but we're also going to be doing warrant service and checkpoints. So it's all about PR. Oh, the Army, the Air Force, they help catch rustlers. Oh, they help kill the mosquitoes. Oh, they're at the local high school prom doing security. This is happening. It's called acclamation for martial law. That's all at Infowars.com right now. We're going to be going over that and a lot more. There is a ton of news, but let's go to your calls. We're going to go to Mark, and then after Mark, we're going to go to Chantel and others. Mark in Colorado, you're on the air.
Well, Alex, I can't believe it. Let me hit my speaker here. Do I still have you?
Yes, you do, brother.
All right. Hey, I got to go to the park behind my parents' house because I'm going to get rowdy here. And heck no, Alex, I don't think you're, and I agree with your first caller, I don't think you're going far enough, Alex. And I don't mean that to be overly critical. You are the #1 man in patriotism. You should be the 5th head up on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, knock it off, brother. You got to, please stop. All I want is my freedom and to defeat these people. No, but if you're a new listener, I was posing the question, do people disagree? Do they think I'm exaggerating, or am I not going far enough? And how do you think we turn things around? Where do you think things are going, to reintroduce the question? Go ahead.
Well, Alex, here's the part where I think you might have to hang up on me. I've posted some pretty stiff comments that got stricken from InfoWars, and here's where I'm coming from, brother. I cannot understand how all of these U.S. military people who have sworn to uphold my Constitution, not one of these people has the backbone to go up and arrest the POTUS, the rest of these illegal people at the top. Now, Alex, I know the Pentagon is totally corrupt. I know all those people way up at the top are corrupt and untouchable, but I am sick and tired of all these supposed patriots in blue uniforms with badges and U.S. military going overseas, killing innocent people over there. We got drones flying around the planet, blasting people. And doggone it, what's it going to take for one of you military people to strap on your weapon and use it as it's intended and either execute these people who are ruining my country in my name? And I'm sorry I'm so emotional here, Alex, but...
Well, sir, hold on just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna put you on hold for a moment. I've got 2 little moderators, and believe me, we don't have the money. I'd rather have them doing reporting or something like that. We've got 2 moderators for PlanetInfowars.com, the social network, so people can get together and organize there, PlanetInfowars.com. And we have the same 2 moderators for Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. And then we've got some of the weekend webmasters who also try to check stuff. And we don't try to block anything. It's not censorship because it's our website. Censorship is when somebody comes out and takes your free speech away. But when it's, our newspaper, we can have our policies. Most forums and comments on articles, if it's not on topic, you're taken down. There's people preaching Christianity, Islam, Buddhism on there. There's nihilists, there's atheists. They'll come into an article about gun control and start posting Bible verses, and we found out it's the same people doing Bible verses, then posing as atheist, just to take over discussions. And used to, I let people do that, but I've said, what to the folks, if something's completely off topic, get rid of it. People hunger for real discussions.